Hi, welcome to FilmSauce. I'm FilmSauce, and in this Sawsy video, I am looking at Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, exactly 1 year after I covered the first film, which was my first video. After the success of the first film, a sequel was greenlit, with Chris Columbus returning as director, and John Hughes returning as writer. Home Alone 2 is basically the first movie, but set in the Big Apple. At the end of this video, I will review what I enjoyed and didn't enjoy about this film, then I'll rate the film in the source points. That being said, grab a candy cane and lick away while we watch FilmSauce Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. The movie begins very similar to the original. Hell, even the title sequence is basically the same. Granted, they did add the building outlines. But there is one key difference in this opening, and that is Kevin, still played by Macaulay Culkin, has matured a hell of a lot. He's not annoying his family, he's already packed his suitcase, and hey, it's the guy from My Chicks. The whole family now go to a school Christmas pageant, where Kevin's brother Buzz does some prank during Kevin's solo, and apparently this is funny to the whole crowd, who are laughing harder than any audience at a comedy club. Kevin finds out about the prank and punches Buzz, and apparently since the first film, Kevin has claimed the power of Hercules because this one punch knocks Buzz over, the kid triple Kevin's size. Anyway, Buzz falling causes a domino effect, making everyone fall, which knocks over a Christmas tree prop that bloody kills this woman. After that, the family get back home where Buzz says his apology, and how this kid came up with this amazing speech by himself. I always reckon Buzz would have been a dumbass, but he's speaking like a goddamn lawyer. But obviously Buzz talking out of his ass, which annoys Kevin so much that he calls out his whole family for being stupid to believe Buzz, which is true. But nonetheless, Kevin is forced to sleep in the attic again, and when he is talking to his mum, he basically spews out the plot of this movie. Come on, man. No spoilers. It is now the morning, and just like the previous film, they slept in, but they all make it in the vans to drive off to the airport. Even Kevin makes it. At the airport, the family is rushing to the gate, and Kevin is so desperate for batteries for his little toy that mimics voices, he takes his dad's bag and is left behind. Kevin starts to follow a man who is wearing the same coat as his dad, and he goes to another gate, while his family board another plane. And Kevin, despite being at the wrong gate, is allowed on board because he claimed his dad is on board. Pre-9/11 America. So Kevin boards a plane, ignoring the fact that he can't see any family member, but oh no, he sat next to a French person. That's worse than sitting next to a newborn baby.
Rick, tu peux pas me dire, toi, un peu, s'il y a un bon restaurant, seulement peut-être tes parents, ils connaissent une bonne place. Pourquoi tu me réponds pas?
Both the Miami and New York planes land, and we have a fun scene where the mum character, called Kate, finds out Kevin is missing. And good job to Catherine O'Hara for bringing another good performance. Kevin, looking at the grand skyline of New York City and asking an airport employee where he is, figures out he is in the Big Apple. Kevin explores the sights of the city: Chinatown, Statue of Liberty, the Twin Towers, and I feel like it'll be easy to make a 9/11 joke, but I'll just say rest in peace to all those who suffered through that terrible day. The parents now talk to the police about Kevin's disappearance, where they really show off they are not amazing parents. But who cares about the boring old parents, because the wet bandits, sticky bandits, have returned with Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern reprising their roles. A newspaper before revealed that these two broke out of prison. And how did these two, of all the prisoners in that prison, escape? They got beaten up by a child. Kevin is wandering around Central Park, where he finds a pigeon lady, played by Brenda Fricker, who scares him, causing Kevin to run away and go to the Plaza Hotel. Kevin walks into the plaza and asks for directions from the guy from the hit movie Little Rascals. And yeah, he did nothing else of noteworthy. Kevin, obviously being a child, cannot just wander up to the receptionist and buy a room. So using his Talkboy toy, he records himself asking for a room, and he deepens the voice. And this plan works, and the woman answering the phone doesn't even question why the voice is deeper than Darth Vader. Kevin now walks up to reception, claiming his room, and we meet possibly the best addition to the cast, Tim Curry, as concierge. I'll just call him Tim Curry. But he is very naturally suspicious of Kevin. Kevin chills around the hotel, exploring his room, going to the pool, and watching the angels with even filthier souls, which seems to have the same issue with Home Alone 2, where it is basically the same movie as the first one. Tim Curry now enters Kevin's hotel room, and Kevin, needing to fake that his dad is here, props up a clown float in the shower, and he plays the recording of an earlier scene, where Kevin records his uncle showering, and this scares Tim Curry off. But hey, in the morning, Tim Curry apologized for seeing Kevin's dad nude, so he's not that bad. But great start of the day for Kevin as he gets a limo and a cheese pizza presented from this character Cedric, who's played by Rob Schneider. And bloody hell, on my rewatch, I loved this character so much more. Cedric, you don't get enough credit. But Tim Curry has found out that the credit card Kevin has been using has been stolen. Back to our main bad guys, the Sticky Bandits make plans for a new heist at Duncan's Toy Box, which is where Kevin is dropped off by his limo driver. The toy store is crawling with kids, and fun fact, all these kids' salaries were paid with the toys they chose from the store. Macaulay Culkin chose his Talk Boy, which was just a prop and did not work. But it probably was not a big deal because he was paid $45 million, which was the biggest salary for a child at that time. Hey, there's Chris Columbus, the director, in a cameo. That's cool. Kevin pulls up to the counter to buy some toys from this really nice clerk, played by Eddie Bracken. This store clerk explains to Kevin how all money made that day was being paid to the children's hospital. And Kevin, being a sweet boy, donates to charity. And because of the donation, Kevin got to choose an object from this tree, and the clerk gave Kevin the turtle doves, which marks friendship and stuff. Oh, and Kevin finds out shortly after the clerk is the toy store owner, Duncan. At the same time as Kevin buying his toys, the Sticky Bandits were scoping out the store. When they go outside and find Kevin, they confront him and he does the funny scream. There is a chase scene where no one thinks to help the child is getting chased by two shady men. Kevin runs back to the plaza where he's confronted by Tim Curry for the stolen card. We have another chase scene with the hotel staff in the plaza lobby. Kevin goes to his hotel room and puts on Angels with Even Dirtier Souls, which tricks the hotel staff that a real gun was being fired, which allows Kevin to sneak away, but he sneaks away right into the hands of Harry and Marv. The Sticky Bandits walk around with Kevin, and Marv leaks the whole plan of robbing Duncan's toy store, and Kevin records the conversation with his talk boy. Kevin does easily get out of the situation though by groping a woman who Marv hit on earlier, so the woman beats Harry and Marv down, allowing Kevin to escape. Back to Miami, the family get a call telling them that Kevin is now in New York, and the family decide to take the next flight to New York City. Kevin now goes to his uncle and aunt's home in New York, but the uncle and aunt are in France, so Kevin is forced to spend the night in Central Park with all the scary homeless people. Ew, people of a lower class. Kevin now runs back into the pigeon lady, causing him to scream. He gets his foot stuck in between some rocks, and she helps him out, causing Kevin to rethink his fear, and he bonds with the lady over pigeons. And the lady takes Kevin to her home, and people do not follow strangers to their home. The two talk about being the black sheep, and they talk about how people should take chances and do good deeds. Kevin now is inspired from that chat and seeing the children's hospital, so with this inspiration, Kevin decides to save the toy store from the Sticky Bandits with Operation Ho Ho Ho, where he sets up another house of traps. The family are now at the plaza where they get a room. Dad character, played by John Hurd, goes to the police station, while Kate decides to go around New York to find Kevin. The toy store robbery now begins, and Kevin strolls on in, taking photos of the duo mid-robbery, and he throws a rock at the window, causing the alarm to go off, so the Sticky Bandits chase after Kevin leads the bandits to the where he throws bricks dead on Marv's face. Kevin must have been one of the founding fathers of MLG trick shots. After Marv is barraged with bricks, the two bandits split up to different sides of the home to spring as many traps as possible. Marv is shot 3 times with a nail gun, but then he busts through the door and doesn't notice a huge gaping hole at the doorway, so he falls into the basement. Harry falls off a ladder doused in slime and has a bunch of tools fall on him. He also has a redoing of the head on fire with an added explosion. Marv, after doing some slapstick shenanigans in slime, becoming a Picasso piece, getting the wrath of Zeus used on him, and a face full of cement, he finally escapes the basement. Harry and Marv link back up where they both are hit directly in the face by a metal post. After getting their bodies smushed by a tool chest, the duo finally reach the roof, but Kevin has climbed down a rope to the streets, and the bandits try to follow Kevin down when the rope that is covered in kerosene is lit on fire by Kevin, and the bandits fall down onto the street. Kevin now finally calls the police on the exact direction in Central Park. Kevin doesn't even make it a few feet into Central Park though, when he slips on ice and is captured by the sticky bandits, who take Kevin for a stroll in the park. Harry now pulls out a gun at Kevin, but Marv notices how there are millions of pigeons lurking. The pigeon lady now appears and douses the bandits in birdseeds, convincing millions of pigeons to swarm the two, and it looks kind of terrifying. I could be fooled that this is a clip from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, and apparently in the scene, according to actor Joe Pesci, the two actors were actually covered in real birdseed and 300 pigeons. Kevin now launches some fireworks that alert the police to the bandits, and it's funny how the fireworks didn't scare the birds off, but a single gunshot at the toy store, the owner, Duncan, is given a letter that Kevin tied around the rock he threw in the store earlier. He apologized for breaking the window to catch the bad guys, and he thanks Duncan for the turtle doves. Kevin now visits that big New York Christmas tree, and hey, I thought everything was supposed to be bigger in Texas, not New York. Anyway, Kate figures since Kevin loves Christmas trees, it would be there, and she was right. They both say sorry and hug it out. It is now Christmas morning in the Plaza Hotel, and there are a ton of Christmas gifts, because Santa only gives tons of gifts to the richest people. Sorry kids, Santa prefers privileged people. Because of all these gifts, Buzz, played by Devin Rattray, speaks up, saying Kevin should open the first present, and he says, "Merry Christmas" to Kevin. Well, Buzz, you really just touched my heart. But Kevin walks out of the hotel, and for some reason no one questions it. This is why you lose this kid all the time. Anyway, Kevin gives the pigeon lady one of the two turtle doves, marking their friendship. Oh, and Kevin goes on the run once his dad finds out he spent around $1,000 on room service. And that was FilmSauce Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. Now let's get to the source points. I quite like this film, but firstly I'll talk about my dislikes with it. I do not really like when films are basically the same as a previous film, and this does suffer with that, with the pigeon lady, most of the family stuff, and some of the Kevin shenanigans scenes. One other slight dislike I have for the film is the climax location. A New York home in the middle of a renovation just doesn't capture the same magic as the McAllister house, and the set piece just feels boring to look at. Onto my likes of this film, I really liked Tim Curry and Rob Schneider's roles in this film, especially Tim Curry, who was just the highlight of the film. The setting of New York is fun, and it's nice that it isn't some random city acting as New York, like in Chase. I do like the idea of Duncan and his toy store. Kind of wish the traps were in his toy store, but I don't know how that would work. Harry, Marv, and Kevin are all amazing, and on rewatch, I'm surprised how much the comedy hit for me. I do like the joke with Uncle Frank where he told Kevin if he saw him naked, Kevin would grow up never feeling like a real man. Anyway, I'll rate Home Alone 2 7.2 source points out of 10. A recommended watch for this holiday season. But now, I must say farewell. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all.